Welcome, everyone, to our daily broadcast on Kabbalah for Heretics. It's wonderful to have you all tuned in again this morning as we continue in our pursuit of the secrets of the Holy Zohar. Every, every morning I say this, and you're probably going to get sick of it, but for the past 25 years, every morning at this same place, we have been going through the Zohar cover to volume by volume, cover to cover, page by page, sentence by sentence over the past 25 years. We were doing it up until recently in a class format. We're no longer in a class format. We're in a far better, as you all know who are listening, we're in a far better format. We're in the podcast format, where we are broadcasting these as podcasts on a channel that was set up for us by David and Yeshai on YouTube. So going in that way every day for the last 25 years, we've completed volumes 1, 2, and 3, which in itself is a fantastic development. And are now, and have been for the last several years, working on volume 4. But we are very close to finishing volume 4. I mean, it's not going to be like I keep saying, it's not going to be like the day after tomorrow. But it's a matter of, I think, months rather than years before we're finished and begin on volume 5. We return to the section on Vayikra, Leviticus, in the Zohar, volume 4, where we left off, pages 22a to 22b. The merchant, you remember, all of this is taking place in and directly at the mouth of this cave in a gigantic rock. And we've talked about the significance of this. It's going on among rabbis, the great mystics of the time. But there is at least one merchant who has been listening. And it says, now the merchant then discoursed on the verse. Now that's very unusual. He's a layman. He's a man of the world. Do you see? He's a merchant. He trades in things of the world. Yet he is about to discourse on a verse. And the verse is, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy, from Job. Well, it's more than Job. Not only is it Job, and not only is it the Zohar, but Jesus Christ is called the morning star in the Gospels. When the morning stars sang together, and all the B'nai Elohim, the sons of God, shouted for joy. This has to do with Jesus, well, not just Jesus. It has to do with the Mashiach, who is a bright and morning star falling in the sky. When God, he said, comes to have joyous communion with the tzaddikim in the Garden of Eden, everything in the lower and upper world, and all upper and lower angels arise to meet him, and all the trees in the garden break forth into song before him, and even the birds of the earth utter praise before him. Now, first of all, this is some shit-kicking, ordinary merchant, and out of his mouth is coming these profound teachings. This is a demonstration of the Holy Spirit. As with him, so with me. The words I say are not of me. They are the Holy Spirit dwelling in me. And the same is happening with him. Profound words. Then a flame goes forth, and strikes the wings of the cock, and it bursts into praise of the Holy King and calls to men to engage themselves in the study of the law and in the praise of their master and his service. Happy the lot of those who then rise from their beds to study the Torah. Notice about who follow the law, the very law that Paul speaks against, and rightly so. It is the law that binds us to sin. It does. Paul points out, and I think it's a brilliant argument, that if there were no laws against something, there would be no sin for that thing. If there's no law that says, thou shalt not spit on the ground, spitting on the ground is not a sin, because there is no law forbidding it. And as we've seen over and over again, Mashiach comes. In the case of Jesus, Jesus comes in order to bring forth the spiritual Torah, not the Torah of laws, but the Torah da'atzolus, the Torah of the upper realms. It is the Torah of laws, the second Torah that was given in order to perfect man for the coming of the first Torah, the Torah of the Spirit. It is that Torah of laws that Jesus preached against and that we do also. And listen to what goes on. Everything in the upper and the lower world goes crazy. Lower angels arise to meet God, and all the trees of the garden break forth into song before him. The trees of the garden sing. They sing. These are living things, these trees. Or they come to life when we move away from the study of the law to the study of the spiritual Torah. It says, when God comes to have joyous communion with the righteous in the Garden of Eden, everything in the lower and upper worlds, and all upper and lower angels arise to meet him, and all the trees in the garden break forth into song before him, and every bird in the upper world praises him. Because what is being brought up is the spiritual Torah to replace the legal Torah. Remember, when Israel first came out of Egypt, God says, I gave you one commandment and one commandment only. This was the spiritual Torah da'atzolus, the spiritual Torah. And God says, I gave you, that consisted of one commandment, and I wrote it down with my own finger, God says. What was that? It was literally, listen to my voice, then I shall be your God, and you shall be my people. Well, Moses comes down the mountain with that one commandment to see the children of Israel and the Gentiles among them sinning before the golden calf. And he throws the spiritual Torah da'atzolus down on the ground, breaks it, goes back up, and God then dictates a second Torah, the Torah of remaking, the legalistic Torah, to cleanse man and make him ready to receive the spiritual Torah, which he was not yet ready to receive, but will be when the Messiah comes to reinstate the Torah da'atzolus, listening to the voice of God. Whoa, that's all there is. Forget about keeping kosher. Forget about thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Forget. No. I mean, yes, we should do all those things because they're carryovers, but they are not the Torah anymore. The Mashiach comes, in Jesus' incident, he came to replace the Torah Debriya, the Torah of legalistic remaking, with the Torah da'atzolus of one commandment, listening to God. By the time Jesus came, it was believed in the mind of God that mankind had sufficiently repented of their initial worship of the golden calf by following the Torah of remaking, and we're now ready to receive the oral Torah of listening to God. That Jesus talks about that all the time. It's a matter of listening to God, communing with God. Then I shall be your God and you shall be my people. Listening to God. And that doesn't mean listening in the legal sense. That's what it used to mean. You better listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't mean it that way. It means open up your ears and listen to me. Hear my voice. Hear me. You're now ready to do that. If you're ready to do that. Because Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, I've come to select 1 in 1,000, 2 in 10,000. Not everybody is ready. Not everybody has been cleansed by the Torah de Berea. But those who have are now ready to receive the Torah de Atzilus. All of you and me, every one of us here. Then a flame goes forth and strikes the wings of the cock, and it bursts into praise of the Holy King, and calls to men to engage themselves in the study of the law and in the praise of their master and his service. Not just the legal aspect anymore, but also to praise the Torah of praising God, listening to God, the spiritual Torah. That's why it's broken up into two things. It says, calls to men to, 1, engage themselves in the study of the law, and 2, to engage themselves in the praise of their master and his service. The study of the law is insufficient. It does not cover the second condition. That's why they're separated here. The star bursts into praise of the Holy King and calls to men to, 1, engage themselves in the study of the law, but 2, and in the study of the praising of their master and his service. Happy the lot of those who then rise from their beds to study the Torah, not the law, but Torah. This Torah de Atzilus. When the morning comes, the gates of the south are opened and healing goes forth to the world. And the east wind awakens and mercy, chesed, the right-hand side, prevails. And all the stars which are under the rule of their morning star, all the stars that are under the rule of the Messiah, when the morning comes, the gates of the south are opened and the healing goes forth to the world, and the east wind awakens and mercy, chesed, prevails, and all the stars which are under the rule of that morning star, the morning star that Jesus, the Christ, is described as in the Gospels, break out into song and praise the Most High King, as it says, quote, when the morning stars sang together. That is the music of the spheres. It's going on in there. It's there. We just don't hear it until all of this takes place. The other merchant, no, there are 2 merchants. The other merchant then discoursed on the verse, quote, as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away in Genesis. He said, we have learned that when morning comes and Gevurah passes away, when the right-hand side of God prevails over the left-hand side, and loving kindness seeks to awaken, then all who come from that side hasten to their place to prepare blessings for the world. Their place is in the left-hand side. Earlier, it makes the very strong point that goodness must enter into evil. It isn't the other way around. This is why Jesus descends into hell. This is why Sabbatai Zevi descends into alien religion. The other merchant then discoursed on the verse, as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away. He said, we have learned that when morning comes and Gevurah passes away and loving kindness seeks to awaken, then all who come from that side of loving kindness hasten to their place, that is to say, within Gevurah, within evil, to prepare blessings for the world. Holiness enters into unholiness to prepare it for blessings, not to enjoy it, not to go on an unholiness binge, but to transform it from within. That's you. All of you listening right now. All of you are to do that. All of you, each and every one of you can do it, and according to what we teach, should. I do. My closest students do. That's what we teach. Enter the evil to transform the evil. That's one of our principal neo-sabbatian teachings. And this is the meaning of the words, quote, the morning light. Light being synonymous with good. Oyer, light, being synonymous with good, tov. The two Hebrew words can be permutated to be the same. Note the following series of grades. Night is one grade, as we know. Then morning light is another grade, which we also know. A higher grade which always accompanies the other. The sun is a third grade. These are the Sephiros now. They're being called grades. Known to us, which establishes all and gives light to all. Notice the sun, life giver. I'll talk about that in a moment. Thus the morning light receives light from the sun, and in turn gives light to the night, so that they are all linked with one another. Notice this very subtle reference to the Sun King, to the Sun as God. Now, I want to just speak of one thing off to a side about this. The Pharaoh who inherited Egypt, who was so misshapen, and he actually looked like a pear. His body was shaped like a pear, and was very strange. And whose name is just escaping me. Anyway, you'll recognize him as I talk about him. He did away with the old religion of Egypt. He closed down all the temples, sent away all the priests, and established the religion of the sun god. The sun god. As the one God, he transferred the religion of Egypt into a monotheism, that monotheism being the worship of the sun. And let's remember, it was very probably after the Israelites had left Egypt that all of that took place. When they were in Egypt, they brought this wisdom of the sun god to Egypt. And when this particular Pharaoh became Pharaoh, he had been impressed by that monotheism of the Israelites, a worship of, in many ways, the sun god. and so instituted sun god worshipped in all of Egypt. He changed the capital of Egypt. He built new temples and so forth. Thus, the link between the ancient Israelites who descended into Egypt and the religions and so forth of Egypt itself. Note the following series of grades. Night is one grade, as we know. Then morning light is another grade, which we also know, a higher grade which always accompanies the other. The sun is a third grade known to us, which establishes all and gives light to all. The third grade, the third eye. Remember, in the Egyptian religion, that eye is very prominently used as a symbol of God. The third eye. What is that third eye? It is the highest sephira. Keter, crown, right between the two eyebrows. Some call it the pineal gland. It is absolutely essential in the practice of occult Judaism with the phylacteries, you know, those little boxes that go, one that goes on the forehead and one on the left arm. That phylactery for the forehead must go directly on the spot between the two eyebrows where there is the third eye. It's the whole point of it. Note the following series of grades. Night is one grade, as we know. Then morning light is another grade, which we also know. And a higher grade, which always accompanies the other. The sun is a third grade. Third grade. Read for that third eye. Known to us, which is all and gives light to all. What establishes all and gives light to all? God. This is a passage in the Zohar. In the Zohar, referring to God as the sun. That's what it says. If you read it carefully and without prejudice, that's what it's saying. The other merchant then discoursed on the verse, as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away from Genesis. He said, we have learned that when morning comes and judgment passes away from the side of light, the right-hand side of God, predominates over the left-hand side of God, judgment, gevura, anger, hostility, unholiness, passes away, and loving kindness seeks to awaken. Then all who come from that side hasten to their place to prepare blessings for the king. The sun is a third grade known to us, which establishes all and gives light to all. Everything comes from the sun. It's saying the sun which establishes all. Only God can be said to do that. Therefore, the sun is being referred to as God. Or, put another way, God as the sun. Thus, the morning light receives light from the sun and in turn gives light to the night so that they all are linked with one another. There is this practice of sun eating, I think it's called. It was very popular for a while, very ancient, where the practitioner gets up in the very early morning when the sun has risen and learns to stare directly in it, gathering all that light directly from the sun through the eyes into the brain. Sun eating, partaking of the body of God. I think one of the things that caused that very occult practice to be kind of disregarded is because a lot of people were injured. Their eyes were injured permanently. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean that it still cannot be done when done carefully. I would not do it. I would not recommend people do it. I think doing it takes a great master who has himself mastered it. You must not do it on your own. I am a master. I have not mastered it. I haven't even practiced it. So I would never recommend it, not because I don't believe it's true, but because I'm in no position to do so. Then, quote, morning light is another grade, which you also know, a higher grade, which accompanies all the others, and the sun is the third grade. Thus, morning light receives light from the sun, and in turn gives light to the night, so that they all unite with one another. When this morning light awakens, all men are gladdened and go about their business. We'll stop here. And we'll continue with this. We'll continue with this tomorrow morning, of course. In the meantime, that ends our broadcast for this morning, but I will now, at the end of this broadcast, do as I've been doing at the end of every broadcast and will continue doing for the next year. That is to recite the sacred Kaddish, the prayer for the dead, in honor of the memory and in praise of the soul of the great tzaddik, our beloved friend Leonard Cohen. Yiskadal v'yiskadash merabo, Oma divro chirusei v'yamlich machusei, v'chayachon of yom echon of chayed v'chal beit Yisrael, bagalo uvizman kol yevimru amen. Yehesh merabo mevarach le'elam u'me'el maya. Yismarach v'yishtabach v'yispa'ar v'yisomam v'yisnasei v'yisadar v'yisalei v'yisalal. Shmei d'kutsha b'richu. Le'elam minchal b'irachasa v'shirasa tushvasa v'nechemasa. Damiron b'almo v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya. V'chayin v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imramov. Hu ya'asei shalom. Oleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Go in peace. The broadcast is over. As you go through the world today, do not follow the world. Do not follow any person. And for the love of God, do not follow your ego, but follow the Holy Spirit, now alive and awakened in you, speaking to you, calling to you, guiding to you. Follow her, not yourself, not another, not the world.